Hey there Cosmic Warriors, and welcome back to my Venus series. So in today's video we're going to be taking a look at Venus in Capricorn. Now this video can also resonate if you have the sign of Capricorn ruling your second house as well, so I definitely recommend watching for either of these placements. Now before we do get started, if you would like to know more information about the Venus signs within astrology along with the Venus houses, along with your Taurus house and second house as well, then I have created a Taurus season / archetype ebook. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide a link to that ebook in the description box below so that you can pick up your copy today. I also just want to mention here that I realize some of you have been asking me like if I'm okay and everything in the comment section, and I just want to let you know that yes, I am okay. I actually am in a very good place in my life right now. And I think it's because I'm just trying to get comfortable with the camera more than anything. I'm really trying to come into my own. But yeah, with all those introductions out of the way, see, I want to keep on my script as well. That's the thing. There you go. I might make other videos, to be honest, where I can actually just freely talk like I'm talking now. But yeah, I want to stay on track. So with all those introductions being said, Venus and Capricorn, Capricorn ruling the second house, let's do this! Alright, so firstly let's start off by describing the second house within astrology. Now, the second house can provide us with an indication into how our identity and security is formed based upon the things that we attach ourselves to, whether that be money, whether that be material, people, or even our belief systems and so on. And furthermore, it is the second house that can be viewed as representing the time or stage in our lives by which we begin to become more consciously aware of ourselves. Now, according to Howard Sass-Bertaz, from around 6 months we start to recognize that we have a body. But research can also suggest that we start to become self-aware from around 18 months old. Therefore, it is from the second house within astrology that we start to build upon who we are based upon the material world and how we reflect on the material world. So you could say that the products and the materials and the items that you own are a reflection of yourself, because the things that you own, the materials that you have, they can reflect things such as your style, your taste in things, your fashion, your likes, your dislikes, all these very Phoenician types of things, okay? But they can also reflect your financial situation and your skills and your talents as well. So for example, if you're going to purchase a $10 fragrance over a $50 fragrance, that is going to suggest that your financial situation really comes into play there, okay? And besides, if you were not skilled within that particular role or job and how you make that money for yourself, then you wouldn't have that job in the first place, and because you don't have that job, then you won't be able to afford that certain fragrance or thing that you want. So yes, it is from the second house then that we form our own sense of self-worth or value. So questioning the things that we value. So who do you value? What do you value? Do you value yourself and others? And what is your self-worth based upon, and why? This is essentially then about you going outside of yourself in order to discover what is located within yourself. Alright, so for those of you who have Venus in the sign of Capricorn, or Capricorn ruling your second house, which by the way I'm going to refer to you as Capricorn throughout this video, well, we notice here, Capricorn, that finances and materials were provided to you in a rather cold or dry or unfeeling type of way. I mean, sure, yes, your financial providers, they might have had enough money to really keep you and your family surviving. You know, could have been a matter of, yes, you were provided for very well. It could have been that you were well supported in that way. So shelter, food, so on was provided for. But the thing is that there was just not a lot of emotion here, okay? There wasn't a lot of feeling being placed when it came to from the financial providers towards you or towards those that were being provided for whenever you were younger. There just wasn't a lot of spark in their face or a lot of joy. They could have just had this more stern expression to them whenever they were giving you gifts or providing for you and your family. Or maybe, you know, for some of you Capricorns, it could have been a matter of your father was always working, so to the point of just overworking himself. So perhaps your mother would stay then at home and your father would be the working person, you know. So it was a lot more traditional type of upbringing in this way. But then when it came to the weekends, it would be your father who would actually take you out, resulting in him being the most sort of apparent, the most sort of there, you know, very present, very involved parent in your life. Now, this being said, this could have led on to you forming a closer connection than naturally with your father, but then a more distant connection with your mother. Now, that's not to say that you necessarily had a bad relationship with your mother, Capricorn. It's just that your father might have been more present in your life overall, and also your father might have been the one who brought in most of the money into the household as well. So naturally this can also result then in your father overworking himself or feeling like he was the one who was continuously like trying to hold the family unit together in a financial way. Then again Capricorn, for some of you it could have been that your father was actually absent from your life. Maybe work came first due to him really just being in a position of authority, or maybe it was that for others of you, your father was just emotionally absent, where he just always had this really concerning look on his face, you know. And that's so funny because I have Venus in Capricorn, and my dad, he just always looks like he just has this concerned sort of look. Now, my dad, he is an Aquarius, but he also has Mercury in Capricorn. And yeah, I just find that with my dad, like he was so giving, and he is so giving, and he always shows up for me and his family, and he's very supportive. But it's just that he's just not like, for example, when I go to hug my dad, it's just a strange But either way, Capricorn, things just could have seemed like it was a little bit cold and a little bit dry when it came to how your, you know, not even just your father, but just your financial providers, how they provided to you. It was just a bit like, you know, here, happy birthday. Yeah, happy birthday. You know, that kind of thing. Perhaps even you perceive your financial providers to be boring types of people here. It's a potential. Maybe you think to yourself, even Capricorn, like, how are my parents even together? I mean, these two old timers, how are they still together? Their marriage, their relationship, everything just looks so boring, looks so bleak, looks so bland. It could have just been where you would look at one of your parents and think like, you are just so boring, but yet the other parent is just a bit different to that parent. And so you may start then kind of looking back and forth, oh, they're not right for each other, or that's wrong, or I don't agree with this. And it can create quite a negative sort of pessimistic outlook for yourself. But the thing is that Capricorn, you're coming to realize something really quite powerful here, because what you're coming to realize is that love can mean so many things to different people, right? But my perspective here of how this love language works for Venus in Capricorn is that love is about withstanding the hands of time and sticking together, right? So sticking together through all the crap, sticking together through all the arguments, through all the disputes, through all of the hardships, through all the struggles, through all the rules and the regulations that, you know what, Capricorn, you might have looked at your parents and thought that is just ludicrous, that is ridiculous, that you're still together, that is ludicrous, that this is even a law to abide by or a rule to abide by in this household. But love goes through it all. Love will take you, will take anybody to the depths to the dark times, to the struggles, you know, to the finances, where yeah, things can be really tough in that way. And we're in this economy right now, especially in the West, in terms of like, you know, success and career and being driven and yes, like materials and consumerism, and there's a lot of pressure right now. But the thing is that love, if you really love someone, it's with this placement, it is going through all that and still seeing the value in the actual beautiful connection that you have with one another, that even if the material world is looking a certain way to you, that it's negative and it's bleak and it's dry and it's boring, but really taking the time to reflect on yourself and really see like, well, do I love this person? And yeah, you got to be practical with yourself, you got to be, but you gotta really ask yourself if it's worth it to you. Is it worth the fight? Is it worth going through potential financial difficulty? Is it worth going through arguments? And if it's not worth it to you, Capricorn, then you gotta be honest with yourself. But what comes with all this, Capricorn, is that you're learning so many great lessons about your own self-worth through it, okay? Because what you're learning is that no matter what you have experienced throughout your life, no matter how many times you have been on the brink of breaking down, no matter how many times you get into these dark and cynical places that take you down a rabbit hole of guilt and shame for all the things that you regret or wish you could turn back time, no matter how many times you do any of these things, Capricorn, you gotta trust in never giving up on yourself, never giving up on love, right? See, you tend to view love as this financial exchange, and yes, some could say that yes, love is a financial exchange, but it's also more than that, that there's also other expressions of love that exist. I mean, what is it? What is it, Capricorn? Is it that actually times were really tough or really bloody difficult and just hard and grueling? You know, maybe your father was biting off more than he could chew, or maybe a financial provider was always complaining about how much money was being generated within your household. Either way, finances seemed to be the main attraction in that way, right? But naturally what can come with this is then you wanting to now base your self-worth upon your own financial success. But what you are coming to learn, Capricorn, is that your self-worth isn't going to necessarily be found in anywhere out there, right here in the material world, unless of course you want it to be, right? If you want it to be, and if you want your self-worth to be found within the material world, so within the successes that you have, right? If that's what you want, you've got to be prepared to face the consequences. So for example, right, maybe you're the type of Capricorn who has gained a lot of recognition or success on your social media account, but you then complain about how much mean, rude comments that you get, and it pisses you off and it really upsets you. So what you're doing from this is you're placing your own self-worth into the hands of other people. But the thing is that you just gotta be really honest with yourself about your intentions as to why you're doing it. And you gotta just understand that the realistic approach is that not everybody is going to agree with you. Not everybody is going to recognize your talents and your skills. Not everybody is going to see things the way you see it in your own sort of black and white way of thinking sometimes towards your own creations. So yeah, you just got to be realistic about the situation, and also realize that social media, yes, the realistic point of view is that social media can be cruel, it can be really mean, but yes, basically Capricorn, you might focus far too much on the negatives rather than the positives. And so if you do decide to start your own business, for example, you must learn to use this to your advantage more effectively by being realistic with yourself. But most importantly, Capricorn, this is really about you becoming secure enough in yourself in order to really be able to identify what is worth it to you. This is really about you learning to be a mature adult in this way. So to be mature in your social interactions with the public, and to also be mature in terms of, you know, sticking to your word with the public and keeping yourself on the straight and narrow. But you are also learning about your own limitations as well here. So to be really realistic with yourself. So, you know, asking yourself how much you can really handle, for example, would be good when it comes to your finances, when it comes to your materials, when it comes to work. So could it be that you hoard your materials and possessions, for example? Or could it be that you're rather frugal when it comes to your money, or a little bit uptight even? But still, you know, there's nothing wrong with being frugal, but it's still asking yourself then what your intentions are and what are your motives when it comes to your money and how you manage and budget your money. Could it be that you hold on to certain materials and items out of fear, for example? And if you do, Capricorn, well, why? I mean, where is that coming from? It could be, you know, that you have this future aspiration for yourself or achievement, and that's why. And so from that, yeah, okay, that shows that you're more driven and you're more dedicated, and that's the journey that you're on. But if it's coming from a place of lack, then maybe it's good to analyze why that might be. So, for example, maybe it's that you felt rejected or denied in some way growing up. That is a possibility here. Maybe it could have been where the father figure suddenly, you realized they were distancing themselves, or you realized that your father was getting into a depressive state, or you realized that your father was just checking out, you know. That could have been really difficult for you to deal with that. And if that did happen, that could even possibly resulted in potential daddy issues for yourself, where maybe you are attracted to these father figure, daddy figure types of people. But you know what? It doesn't even necessarily have to have been your father that was the thing that caused, you know, you feeling inadequate or fearing rejection or feeling rejected in your life at some point. It could just be here that there was a difficult relationship with a parent overall. So when it comes to your self-worth, you are actually learning to locate the father authoritative disciplinarian figure within yourself, Capricorn. For example, right? Maybe you just broke up with your partner and you feel like they just took you for granted. They just used you and abused you, spat you out, and you just feel like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I let that happen to myself. So first off, try not to have this mindset towards yourself, Capricorn. Realize that you're going to learn from it. Make sure that you learn from the experience, right? And also just realize that this is about you taking responsibility for the role that you played within that relationship, and to then be cautious next time. So to address any potential red flags that might exist, and also learning to be a responsible adult within that union, where you own up to your SH1T. You own up to it, right? You know, call your partner out on their SH1T, right? And be mature enough to have like adult conversations with your partner where you can actually work through things together more effectively. Just really trying to work through that relationship, but at the same time, of course, knowing your limits, knowing your boundaries, knowing your worth moving forward as well. So if it is that there's certain partners who take you for granted or are taking advantage of you, to be aware of it, to sense whenever you're maybe asserting yourself or you're taking on too much or it feels really heavy. Trying not to let yourself be taken advantage of, but at the same time also understanding that there has to be a certain amount of energy and value that you have to put forward, that you have to bring into the relationship as well. But still, you know what, if it is that you're a single Capricorn and you've faced a potential breakup, okay, where you've been hurt maybe, where actually in that relationship you gave and you gave and you gave, and you just feel like you just completely were taken for a ride through that situation, well, use your ability to provide and support and give that to yourself, okay? So invest your time into yourself, invest your time into your career, invest your time into your own ambitions and your own aspirations. But if it is that you're the type of Capricorn who wants to have a family one day in that way, then invest in yourself by practically thinking about the steps that you got to make in order to have a supportive family with another person. So how are your finances? Okay, what is your security? What materials do you have to use to your benefit within the financial world? And will you be able to provide for a family if that's what you want? This is basically about you being so realistic with yourself about what you got to do in the material world in order to get to those places that you want to be. You've basically, Capricorn, just got to be really right with yourself, as in you must feel secure enough in yourself, Capricorn. Secure enough to express what you want from a potential relationship. So if you want a long-term committed relationship, then be with someone who wants to be in a committed relationship with you as well, rather than just waiting around for that guy or that girl to come to you and tell you that, oh, finally, yeah, I'm ready to commit. Yeah. This can make you feel so undervalued, Capricorn, and it can attract the most immature of men and women to your life, Capricorn, because of your own fears of rejection, your own fears of just saying what you want to say without fearing of it being rejected from the other person, because what you have to bring to that relationship is important. What you have to say is important. And you know, this can be a vicious cycle, Capricorn, that you get into, a cycle that can run you out of energy very slowly and into your grave if you're not careful. Ultimately, Capricorn, this is about you expressing your gifts and talents in a practical manner where you trust that what you have produced or what you're producing can bring much value and purpose to the public, and also to wait enough in order to see your skills and your talents materialize. So rather than your self-worth being located in others, but being located from within yourself as you willfully share with others the ways in which you live within the material world, where you provide something of great standards because you never give up on the climb. Okay then, Cosmic Warriors, so that concludes the self-worth of Venus in Capricorn / Capricorn ruling the second house. Now, if you do happen to have any of these placements, I would like to hear from you in the comment section. Like I said, I have Venus in Capricorn myself, so I was really rambling a lot, I feel like, because I know from my own experiences mixed in with the more sort of overall look at this. Yeah, I feel like I was able to gain a lot of insight into this placement. But if you have any other insights, any other information you want to share, I would love to hear about it in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching, thank you for subscribing, and of course if you would like to see more videos from myself and you have not yet subscribed, then go right ahead and click the subscribe button, and I will be back with another video very soon. Bye!